In today's world, we have a lot of words, but the witnesses are few. We have a lot of promises, but the practice is very weak. And faith is spoken and it is posted on the social medias like Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And faith is preached at the ambush, but not lived always. So this is the scenario and this is the context we all live in. And today's readings, the Gospel of Luke chapter 4, as well as the first reading, first letter of St. John chapter 4, invite all of us to have a demanding call. Let us go back to the Gospel. In Gospel, Jesus is literally reading the scroll of Isaiah. And three important points in the scroll is good news to the poor, sight to the blind, and liberating the captives. These three sentences have more deeper meaning. First of all, good news to the poor. In Israel, the Jewish people, the poor people are deprived of education. They have no access to education because they have to shepherd, doing the shepherd work, they have to do the farming work or fishing, this sort of things, and they lack education. So, in that context, if you don't have education, you cannot read Torah. Torah, you all know, the Pentateuch. And if you do not know Torah, you do not know how to follow the rules, how to follow the law. And if you do not follow the law, ultimately you have no salvation or liberation. Now Jesus comes and says, the so-called people, elders, the scribes, as well as the scholars in Israel, they have mastered this Torah. So they believe only they will be saved and they will attain salvation. So that is the context. And Jesus comes, deconstructs this notion, and the marginalized term, the poor, becomes the central term. And it is the good news. Good news to the poor is salvation to all. Jesus includes all. So that is the idea and that is the meaning of good news to the poor. Second, sight to the blind. Sight to the blind is not just a physical healing alone. It is the eye-opening of morality, truth, and faith, and also justice. This is very evident in Luke chapters, in further chapters 5, 6, 7. We see Jesus meeting Zacchaeus, a man who was blind, unable to see justice, unable to seek truth, and unable to have faith. And Jesus has encountered with him, and Zacchaeus has sight now, and he is able to see truth and seek justice. And it also well with Saint Peter. Peter, who was Peter? Before Peter was called, he was a normal fisherman. And if you read a lot of the scripture, and we can identify him as a timid or afraid. And Jesus gives him sight and gives him the keys of heaven, and he becomes the rock of the church. And today we follow the legacy. And we see at the death of the cross, at the death moment, last time, Jesus gives sight to the penitent thief. And though he had robbed so many things, and at that moment Jesus offers him sight. So these can be expressed or interpreted that sight to the blind. And the third one is liberating the captives. Liberating the captives in Israel, if you go back, it has got a history traced back to Leviticus, book of Leviticus, where people of Israel celebrate the Jubilee year. How many years? Every 50 years. How many years? How often the Catholic Church celebrate? Yes, 25 years. Because we don't follow the law as it is. At least in one's lifespan, we have to experience the Jubilee year. So it is kept for the Catholic Church every 25 years. So next Jubilee year for us will be 2050. That will be Jubilee year. So the idea of Jubilee year is In the every Jubilee year, people, whenever the Jubilee year appears in the calendar, people are set free, and if they have any debts, that is cleared off, and if somebody is slave to somebody, they are also set free. So these are the outward implications of the Jubilee year. But when reading the scroll of Isaiah, Jesus becomes a Jubilee. So he is setting free those who are captivated by sin, and those who are unable to seek God, and those who have no faith. So Jesus becomes a Jubilee here. So that is what the captivating, liberating the captives. So these are the three implications that is mentioned in the gospel. And Jesus, what he taught, he walked. So that is a very important thing. Whatever he, before beginning his mission, he presents the manifesto, the Lucan manifesto is called. The manifesto is a public statement. He makes a public statement, and this is what I am going to do, and he did it. And in the first reading, first letter of St. John presents to us love of God and love of neighbor. And not going very biblically, let's be very practical. A small story that is more inspired me. People, brothers in a Protestant seminary asked to present in Germany, it happened in Germany, asked to present the Good Samaritan parable enacted in a very creative way. So there were two groups were divided, people were running up and down, preparing themselves for the same. And what happened, the way to auditorium, there was one man who was mentally challenged and unable to walk, so he was walking there, and he was limping and going slowly. So all brothers interested in presenting the act and presenting the skit, so they were preparing themselves, so they were hurrying, nobody noticed. And the organizers start the show, the auditorium, the program, everything began. So all were waiting for the result, who will capture the first prize. And the organizer came, they and said, dear brothers, you have done very well of the skit, you have acted very well, but you are unable to see the man who was mentally challenged, and nobody helped. And the point he concluded is, our intellectual understanding of the scripture has no connection with the practical life. It happens to all of us. So we talk so many things, and when it comes to walk, it is difficult. In today's world, the world is continuously changing and reshaping. If you see in the geopolitical level, Trump on New Year, in his public viewing, in his White House, he made a statement, I want peace everywhere. And following few days, he begins war with the country of Venezuela, and captures that king, captures the president and first lady, and almost in this operation 40 plus people killed, and the media did not disclose, put forward so many things. Let us reflect on this question: how am I going to talk, or what I am going to talk, and what I am going to walk? And let us be this one reflection, and keep on reflecting this, find our own meanings in our lives. Live Jesus.